is wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. So an illegal, which they're called illegals for a reason, because they broke the law, they aren't criminals? You know, what's also funny about that, she stated that she would close detention centers. Don't believe me? Hear it for yourself.
Hi, my name is Sally Hartman. I'm a volunteer with the Center for Worker Justice. I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one.
So basically just let anybody and everybody into the country whenever they want, however they want. It's not a crime. It's fine. Yeah. But I want to show you guys this video clip of a Texas border, a Texas County sheriff, by the name of Javier Salazar. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Because they had him at the DNC. And let me tell y'all something. Thank goodness for the internet, you know, because it's kind of like these people like don't realize that the internet exists and that we can just pull up the clips whenever we see fit. Even if they've tried to scrub them from the internet, some people have like saved them on their hard drives, right? And can easily re-upload it back to the internet, even if you try to scrub the internet of a video. Somebody's got the clip out there. It's just a matter of finding it, right? Let me play the clip of him speaking at the DNC, and then I'll play the other clip of what he had to say just a few months ago. All right? Let's dive in.
On the other side of the border, the traffickers, they pack migrants into 18-wheelers like cattle, 50, 100 at a time. Then they seal the doors. That's when the 911 calls come. We hear them, desperate, terrified, gasping for air. Now, sometimes we get there in time. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we can't. When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Okay. So obviously you guys heard the lie there. Kamala has, worked very hard to secure the border. This administration has done a phenomenal job. It's all Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Okay. Well, thank goodness for the internet, because not long ago, he was literally begging this administration to do something about the border because they hadn't done anything. Don't believe me? Check it out.
40 past the hour. This week's deadly tragedies involving human smuggling have led one Texas sheriff to plead for more help from the federal government to deal with this humanitarian crisis. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar sent a letter to President Biden asking to meet with him to address the humanitarian crisis at the southern border. He also criticized Texas Governor Greg Abbott's stance on immigration and human smuggling. With us now, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar. Sheriff, it's a pleasure to see you, sir. Tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
Well, right now, thank you for having me, first off. Right now, what I'm asking...
Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy that you just saw at the DNC ranting and raving about how good of a job they've done.
For is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach, because we have to on this.
So when you say you're taking a common sense approach and that you're not having federal assistance, what is that approach that you're taking, and what is it that you need?
Well, we'd like to come up with something that makes sense. At present, and I hate to have to say this, at present, we've got a governor that's using this as a campaign stunt. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's a whole lot of money being poured into the border just for the point of just for the stance of making a point to America, right? They're putting these people into state prisons, creating a backlog in the jail system that affects Texas sheriffs, but also like busing these folks to Washington, D.C. and then dropping them at the figurative doorstep of the president. You're just doing that to make a point, and you're wasting resources in the process. Why don't you talk to some law enforcement officers that are handling this, and let us see if we can together come up with a basic no-nonsense approach to this situation that needs to be handled. You can't tell me that the immigration situation in this country is working just fine.
So, Sheriff, you've written 3, I understand, letters to the White House. Here's your opportunity to speak directly to the president and to the folks at the White House. Cameras are yours. What are you going to tell the president?
Mr. President, we need your help. With all due respect, the perception here, what I've seen in talking to other law enforcement leaders in my precious state of Texas, is the perception is that there's been a complete absence from Washington, D.C. Now, I know that you've got a whole world to protect and serve. However, here down in Texas, we need your help. We need you here to talk to us and see if we can be part of the solution. Right now, what we're doing is we're allowing the state government to control that narrative, and maybe they're trying their best. I don't know. But at this point, the results that we're seeing are just not satisfactory. Clearly, we're dealing with over 50 people dead. That means the approach isn't working. And so we need the president's help to come down here and talk to Texas law enforcement, and let's see if we can't figure something out.
And Sheriff, there are groups of people, there are organizations in Mexico and Central America.
Oh, man. We need you down here. We need you now. Come on. We got to figure this thing out. But just yesterday, oh, no, they've done a fantastic job. It's been absolutely great. Kamala actually did something about the border, but, I was just crying about it not long ago. Make it make sense. Thank goodness for the internet, right? Ah, man. Gotta love the internet and pulling up the clips, as they say, pulling up the clips. But what a shame. What a shame. I just be honest. That's not hard to do. Or just keep your mouth shut. If you don't want to say something negative about your side of the political aisle, then don't say anything. It's better than getting on stage at the DNC and absolutely trying to lie to people about how fantastic Kamala has been with the border. She absolutely hasn't been. That is a fact. She's been terrible. So much so that mainstream media has tried to separate her from the border. Oh, she's not the border czar. That's not true. That's not true. No. Oh, she was in charge of solving the root causes of border crisis. Whatever. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I want to know how big the check was. Over, under, okay? Over, under 10,000. Y'all let me know. How big do y'all think his check was? Over, under 10K. I'm going to say over. It's just funny, man, because we can just pull up the videotape. Like, come on, bro. Like, be smarter. Like, they're terrible at lying. Like when she was bussing in the people at the Primanti Bros restaurant. Like, be smart at least. Have them drive up in regular cars and have them staggered so it's not completely obvious when you see this entire row of white vans with people in them. Oh my goodness. Like, come on. Like, if you gonna lie, at least try to be good at lying. Like, they're so bad, they're bad at even lying. How sad is that, yo? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I just wanted to show y'all that. As always, y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.